folks, Canadian Prepper here. Today on the channel, 9 reasons why I, yes, the Canadian Prepper, probably won't survive the apocalypse. Let's talk about it. I know there's a lot of new people getting into preparedness, and it's easy to be discouraged when you see somebody like myself who is showing you all these cool survival gadgets, and you might think to yourself, man, I am way behind on this and there's no time for me to prep. I might as well not prep at all. Well, I'm here to tell you today, even though I've been doing this for over a decade, there's still many weak points in my strategy, and I'm going to be laying that out for you today. In fact, you might be surprised to learn that you are more prepared than me, the Canadian Prepper, in a lot of respects. Currently, right now, I would class myself as what I call a meso prepper. There's micro preppers, meso preppers, and macro preppers. A micro prepper is somebody who is just prepared to bug out. Typically, these are people who are living in a high-rise building in a densely populated region. They have no choice but to base their entire strategy around bugging out because they simply don't have the storage space required to store large amounts of calories and energy that they might need to shelter in place for an extended period of time. A meso prepper is somebody who maybe lives on the periphery of a city, in a suburb, or maybe even in a township, doesn't have a whole lot of land or regenerative capacity, meaning they don't have a garden, they don't have a large solar array, but they have a very large stockpile of food, i.e. energy. Now, a macro prepper is somebody who's taken things to the homestead level. I'm by no means a macro prepper, but I'm about to make the leap from meso prepper to macro prepper, and we're going to be documenting that whole experience for you guys. You're going to be able to watch my evolution as a macro prepper in the years to come. Hopefully we have years to come. Reason number 1, my location. My location is far from ideal. In fact, we recently ranked my current location as a 3 out of 10 on the Apocalypse Survivability rating scale that we created. That's mostly related to the cold climate and other factors. You can go and check out that video here. The other strategic relocation issue is that I don't actually have any land yet. I have a home that's outside of the city in a township of sorts, but I don't have the large swath of land that would be required to build an off-grid, self-sustainable homestead. So because I have no land, that also means I have no well, no constant water source, I have no farm animals, I have no fully self-sustainable garden or greenhouse, I have no large solar array, and I have no heavy-duty farm equipment, nor do I have experience utilizing that equipment. Now, number 2 is that I have a lack of tactical military training. Never been in the military, never been on a police force. And while I do have some connections in that regard, I don't know how to clear a room. I've not trained like I would be engaged in some sort of tactical firefight. I've done some limited training, as you can see here with Rodgill Taka of the CCFR, but not much, and certainly not enough to feel entirely comfortable in one of those defensive situations. Furthermore, I also lack the predatory mindset that might be required in an aggressive SHTF scenario. This is something that I believe will only be brought out of people in times of great desperation. Myself personally, I try to promote more of a defensive strategy at all costs, but I do understand that at some point in time, we may have to go on the offensive if things get really bad in order to be preventative. The third reason why I probably won't survive the apocalypse is that I'm not the greatest hunter in the world. I'm not the greatest trapper in the world. And I'm also not the greatest fisherman in the world. While I've attempted all of these things with limited success, I'm by no means an expert. Hunting takes a lot of time. Field dressing an animal takes a lot of skill. And these are things that you have to do multiple times in order to feel comfortable and be proficient in doing it. Unfortunately, because I live such a busy lifestyle, hunting is pretty much out of the question because it's typically a 2 or 3 day affair where I'm at right now. Currently, as it stands, when you're limited to public land, it's very hard to learn these skills. Trapping is another story altogether, and fishing, while I do have some experience, I don't believe that the style of fishing that I partake in is going to be optimal for an SHTF situation. The fourth reason why I won't survive the apocalypse is because I'm a jack of all trades and unfortunately a master of nothing. None of my post-secondary education is going to be useful towards the end of eking out a living after the apocalypse. There's certain trades that are going to be absolutely useful after it hits the fan. Talking about somebody with military experience, medical experience, somebody who knows how to farm, and all the things that go along with animal husbandry. You'll need electricians who can understand renewable off-grid energy systems. You'll need carpenters who can build things. You'll need mechanics who can fix cars. The fifth reason why I probably won't survive the collapse of civilization as we know it is that I'm just too recognizable. Being a YouTuber with over 200 million views, of course, people are going to know who I am, so being a gray man, as it's commonly referred, is going to be very difficult. When I first started this YouTube channel, I was a lot more discreet about my online presentation. Of course, it's incrementally become such that I disclose more and more personal information about myself. It's just par for the course. But the cardinal rule for all preppers is to never let anybody know that you are actually a prepper. Unfortunately for me, that's a luxury that I've had to forego in order to bring this type of content to people. The other problem is that my truck stands out like a sore thumb. As cool as it is as an off-road rig, it's simply not going to be practical in a post-collapse situation. The sixth reason why I probably won't survive the apocalypse is just I simply have too much stuff. There's that old saying, fear the man with one gun for he knows how to use it. And I'm a huge proponent of minimalism in this respect. The problem is when you're doing all these types of gear reviews on a channel, then you tend to be sent a lot of stuff from various companies. So the goal is to find one capable tool for every aspect of preparedness, master it, and stick with it. Don't fall into the trap of collecting things just for the sake of it. That's called hoarding. That's why you're never going to see my knife collection of 100 knives. I have no need to have 100 different knives, just like I have no need to have 100 different firearms. Now, on the topic of firearms, however, you are going to want firearms of all the basic calibers. I just want one in which I'm proficient with the motor dexterity to use that tool to the best of my capability. The seventh reason why I'm probably not going to survive doomsday is because I just simply don't have the time to do all the things that I would like to do. It takes a lot of time and effort to put out videos on this channel on a daily basis. Whereas I have friends who started prepping when I did, and they are far more advanced than I am now because they spend the bulk of their day actually out there working on their homestead, doing the preparedness things that we all know we have to do in the immediate future. The eighth reason why I probably won't survive what's coming down the pike is that I don't really have a sizable group in a close proximity. While I'm starting to build a network of like-minded people, we're fairly spread out. And honestly, that's probably a good thing, because anything else, it starts to kind of seem like a bit of a cult, unless you're just talking about your neighbors. So a big weakness for myself, and I'm guessing a lot of preppers, because we tend to be independently minded lone wolf types, is networking. And lastly, the ninth reason why I won't survive is because my medical background is limited. While I've done first aid training several times, in fact, I'm not entirely confident that I would be able to efficiently employ those skills under crisis-like conditions. Nor am I entirely confident that I would be able to follow my survival medicine handbook's advice. It's an excellent book by Dr. Joe and Amy Alton, but as they say, practice makes perfect. And unfortunately, I've not had a lot of practice in this respect. So those are all the things that I have to work on. I can say confidently that as far as I know, I haven't been to the doctor lately, but I'm healthy, I'm resourceful, and I know what it means to struggle, and I'm a fighter. So all of my aforementioned shortcomings are going to be things that we continue to try to hone and develop on this channel in the near future. And I just wanted you guys to know that if you are feeling lost in this preparedness space, you're not alone. This really is a lifestyle that we all aspire to live, and making it one where we're not alienating ourselves from society at large is even more difficult. But in my personal opinion, that should be the end goal. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at CanadianPreparedness.com, where you'll find high-quality survival gear at the best prices, no junk, and no gimmicks. Use discount code PREPPINGGEAR for 10% off. Don't forget, the strong survive, but the prepared thrive. Stay safe.